Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Sandy. If it's early morning, like me, grab yourself a cup of coffee. If not, go and grab yourself a cheeky glass of wine, sit down, relax, and let's talk about the power of yes. Hello. Today I wanted to talk to you about the power that we have and the power to say yes. So for a long time in my life, I was programmed to say no. And I think we get into the habit of saying no to a lot of things. So no to trying something new, or no to a new opportunity within our lives. And we get so used to that word and it becomes really easy. So someone might invite you out for a drink and you'll say, no, I can't do that, and end up sitting on the couch and watching TV all night. So we get into a habit of really robbing ourselves of opportunity. So if someone had said to me 5 years ago, look, you're going to meet this wonderful man and you're going to change your life completely. You're going to leave your corporate job and you are going to buy a sailboat, sell everything you own and sail around the world, I would have thought, you are crazy. What are you thinking? Recently divorced woman in her 40s, still trying to find herself, had a really good career. But it was, about that time that I decided that, for me, I was giving myself the power to say yes to opportunities. So to open myself up and experience things that I may not have experienced before. So there are some circumstances that absolutely it is a hard no. But I think we just need to reprogram ourselves to really think about opportunities and think about things that are presented to us that may seem scary at the time. So this YouTube channel is really interesting when I talk about that. So Scott and I talked about this 3 years ago when we first set out from Melbourne. And, some of our family and friends as well had said to us, you should do a YouTube channel while you're, traveling Southeast Asia or, traveling up the east coast of Australia. And only recently I've decided, actually, it's time to do this now. And I think it was the fear of starting a YouTube channel. It was a fear of doing something different. It was a fear of putting myself out there or ourselves out there and showing people a little bit about our world and being criticised for that. And I think that's what happens is we get into a rhythm of, this is my normal day-to-day life. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I might do some cleaning, I might go and do maybe some tennis on the weekend or what have you. But we don't really challenge ourselves. And I think the older we get, the more stuck in our ways we sort of get. So I've really tried to challenge myself now to do things a little bit differently and to start saying yes to opportunities. So, when I first moved to Melbourne, I was recently divorced and I didn't know how to talk to a man outside the corporate world. Really wasn't something that I did. So if my ex-husband's friends came over, I would say hello, but I really wouldn't converse with them. So when I first went to Melbourne about 10 years ago, I really made a conscious effort of dating. So I would just go out for a coffee once a week, or, might be a dinner, a coffee or a drink. But trying to talk to men in a different way was really unique for me. And that was so scary. That dating scene is really quite destructive sometimes. It really, devalues your self-confidence. But if you can push through that uncomfortableness, what lies at the end of it is something absolutely amazing. And I think I'm proof of that now. For years that corporate job had kept me in, doing the comfortable things like, paying off a mortgage, doing the school runs. Those are the things that we do because we love our family. But sometimes you just need to decide what you want to do. What do you want to do? What are the things in life that you want to achieve? And make small incremental steps towards that. Now, I'm not saying throw your life away. You can be happily married and just trying to maybe think outside the box and say, well, okay, well, how can I say yes to more things? Because our natural default is to say no. And I really want to challenge you, think about the things that you've been procrastinating on. Is it a new job? Is it a holiday? Is it, maybe paying down debt? Whatever it is, what are the things that scare you the most at the moment? What are the things that you can do to overcome that fear? Because what sits on the other side of that fear may be something absolutely amazing. Now, 5 years ago, if I hadn't have said yes to Scotty and to a date, then I wouldn't be sitting here today in Croatia talking to you. I guarantee I would have still been in Melbourne. I may have met someone, but I would have been working 9 to 5, would have been going to work every day, coming home, cooking dinner, and that really wasn't fulfilling for me. So the power for me is really around thinking about the things that I'm procrastinating on, thinking about the things that scare me just a little, and then putting steps in action, putting steps in place, and really actioning those steps to make sure that I can reach that goal. So whatever you're procrastinating on at the moment, whenever you're thinking, I'm going to say no to that invitation out for dinner, or, no to that promotion at work, or no to, moving house or retiring, wherever you are in life, think about, well, what do I need to do to turn that into a yes? That's really the basis of today's little coffee with Sandy, is just really taking that power back and saying, well, I might be saying no to a lot of things, and you might be comfortable with that, but sometimes growth comes from that uncomfortability, having those conversations, letting people around you know the things that you're trying to achieve and really trying to hold you account. If maybe you're on a weight loss journey, maybe you just need some help and support for somebody to say, how you going? Let's check in once a week. Having a really good support network can help us reach our goals. So I want you to think about some of the things that you've said no to recently. I want you to think about where you want to head in life, and maybe will a yes change your whole trajectory? Will your life change significantly if you just do something a little bit outside your comfort zone? So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I know it's only a short little video this week, but every fortnight I will put out a little video, and maybe one person this will reach, and maybe it will change your mindset just a little bit. And you can too be living the life that you want to lead. It may not be sitting on a boat in Croatia. It might be something completely different for you, but whatever that is, follow your passions, follow your dreams, and say yes just a little bit more often. Well, that's it from me. Thank you for joining me this morning, and I'll see you in a fortnight. Bye now.